Welcome to Developing Apps with Oracle Apex. This video is on building an app using REST Enabled SQL. Hello, my name's David Peake, Product Manager for Oracle Apex.
For this lab, we need to do some setup. Basically, what we're going to be doing is installing the AppDev VM we will be loading into Oracle's VirtualBox. And the reason for that is we have multiple schemas and we can play with those very readily in a VM because on hosted environments and what have you, that is not allowed. So the quickest way I know of to get to the VM that we need is just go to apex.oracle.com/HOLS, stands for Hands-On Labs. And at the top of this page, you'll see a link here to VirtualBox and then the development app, development VM. And in fact, it's grown. It's about 8.2 gigabytes these days. So it'll take some time for you to download. Then what you need to do is import that VM into your VirtualBox, and then you're ready to actually start running. And I've already done all that, and I've got my environment up and running. So the first thing I want to do now is to actually auto enable one of my schemas. So there's two schemas that I know of. There's HR schema and the OBE schema. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an application in the OBE schema which talks through to the HR schema. So let's just bring up SQL Developer. As you can see, there is no connection here for HR. So I'm going to go and add a new connection. I'm just going to click on System here, which gives me all the details I need. Change this to HR, and the password for all of these is Oracle on the VM. We'll just go ahead and test it. That's successful, so I'm going to save it and then connect. So now that I'm connected, I can actually go in down the bottom here. I just did a right click, REST Services, and enable REST Services. Now importantly here, I need to enable the schema. My schema alias I'm going to put in as HR, and then I'm going to click on Next. Do not click on Finish. It will not produce the results you need. And then you can see what it's going to do. It's going to enable my HR. Authorization is not required. If I need to click on the SQL here and then click on Finish. And if I've done that correctly, you'll see this message coming up saying that it's successfully processed the SQL command. So that's one way of REST enabling a schema. Another way is to actually use the terminal here and simply go into SQL Plus for your user. So it's going to be HR Oracle. And then simply type in exec ords enable schema. So that's exec space ords period enable schema. Let's run that successfully and then just do a commit. And then that's another way that you can actually ords enable your schema. So now that we've done that, it's time to move across into Application Express. So I'm just going to go into Apex here. So first off, I want to log into the HR schema and just see what tables are available. So it's just HR Oracle. Then I'm going to go into SQL Workshop, look at the object browser. You'll see we only have a small number of tables. So I'm just going to go over to our sample data sets here and install the project data. So we've got a lot more tables to play with. And I'm going to exit out of here. And if we go back to Object Browser, you'll now see that we've got these projects and milestones, task tables, etc. So now let's go across to our second workspace, which is OBE. So it's just OBE Oracle. Log in there. And I'm going to go into the App Builder. And the first thing I'm going to do is just have a look at what objects are available in this schema. So you'll see that we've got these OEHR objects. You'll see that we have these OEHR tables and S underscore tables, but none of the sample tables that we're just looking at in the HR schema. So now let's go across to the application builder, and we want to go into workspace utilities, and the top option here is REST Enabled SQL services, and I want to create one. And I'm going to call this one HR schema. And my endpoint, by looking up above, I can see that it's just localhost colon 8080/orgs, and then my schema name, which is HR. So all I've done is utilize this part here of the URL that we're using for Apex, and then put /HR at the end for the schema I'm going to. Now we need HR credentials, and for this we're going to use basic authentication, and the client ID is HR, the schema name, and the password we already know is Oracle, so we can create that. And that's successful. Now, for some reason that isn't successful in your environment, the most likely reason is that ORDS is not set up correctly to have REST enabled. So you might need to go and talk to your administrator about getting that configured correctly before you utilize this feature. So now we can go and create an application. So I'm just going to create a new application, and I'll call it REST Enabled SQL. And I don't need any pages or any features. I'm just going to create the application. So there's just creating an empty shell that I can build other pages in. So let's go ahead and create page. And I'm going to select a report first up, an interactive report. And I'm going to select projects. And why not add a breadcrumb? Click next. Then I want a navigation menu entry. Click next. And on this page here, this is where you make the critical decision whether you're using a local database or you're utilizing a REST Enabled SQL service or web source. For this one, I want REST Enabled SQL service. So I'm going to select my HR schema, and then I can go and select my table. So you'll see the tables that are coming up here are the tables in the HR schema, not the tables in my OBE schema. So I want to select sample projects, and I'm just going to go ahead and create that. And now that's finished, and I can go ahead and run it. So I need to log in. It's just going to be OBE Oracle again. And you can see that it's pulling that data from my HR schema through to my OBE schema. So let's go ahead and add a different component. This time I'm going to create a calendar. Much like I did with the interactive report, I'm just going to put the task calendar navigation menu entry. Instead of local database, REST Enabled SQL, select HR schema, and then select my task table, click next. I want to display my task name, and I want these duration based. I'll select the end date. So it's just as simple as creating a page on a local database, the only difference being that this is actually using the REST Enabled SQL to talk to a remote data source. And again, I can run this page. And now we're seeing these calendar events coming out of the HR schema. So I've demonstrated creating an interactive report in a calendar. You can also create charts, list views, and various other reports based on REST Enabled SQL. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this video.